college murders case. There's breaking news in this case tonight. Newly released text messages and the 911 call from the home. Here's Kana Whitworth.
Tonight, bombshell evidence in the case against Brian Kohberger. For the first time, we're seeing transcripts of the chilling text between the two surviving roommates on the night their four friends were stabbed to death near the University of Idaho. In a newly unsealed motion, prosecutors asking a judge to admit text messages between those roommates as evidence. After one allegedly saw the suspect in a mask, she tries unsuccessfully to reach the victims, then texts her other roommate in the basement. "I'm freaking out right now." No, it's like a ski mask almost. The second survivor texting back, "Run, down here." It's unclear what happened next, but about 6 hours later, one of the survivors tries but can't reach the victim's phone by text, texting Kaylee Gonzalez, "Please answer," texting Madison Mogan, "Are you up?" Just before noon, more than 7 hours after the murders, that 911 call is placed by one of the roommates, saying, one of the roommates who's passed out and she was drunk last night and she's not waking up, telling the dispatcher, "Oh, and they saw some man in their house last night." And David, Brian Kohberger's lawyers, who say he is innocent, claim these exchanges are hearsay. Now, both of these surviving roommates are expected to be critical witnesses at the trial in August.
Thanks for tuning in to Crime Time Podcast. We have an update here, as you heard. The chilling text message transcripts released. Although a transcript, the text message kind of similar. You know, it's not a transcript of audio. Although you hear the 911 call, and just absolutely horrifying to hear, man. And it's so crazy, in my opinion, with the defense attorneys. I know that's their job, to argue, to try to get evidence squashed and not be admissible in court. And for the record, I could never be, I'm not saying I could never be a defense attorney, but I could never be a defense attorney that just represents pure garbage, pure evil, demons, just sick flux, you know, similar to Kohberger and other disgusting, disturbing crimes. I don't know how they do it. You know, like, for instance, someone that we saw pop back out into the news recently, into the internet, Casey Anthony. And it's so crazy. I just had mentioned her a little while back in another video, like whatever happened to her. And then poof, here she appears in the blogosphere, and I don't know what she's trying to push, some kind of money making thing. I think she's just a sack of garbage. But the attorney Baez, if you guys watch the Aaron Hernandez series, hit the comments and let me know if you've seen it. He helped Hernandez, defended him where he beat that second trial. And, you know, that's where everything got so crazy with Hernandez, the way he's deceased, offed himself. There's theories out there. Let me know what you believe to be the truth and all that. But a lot of people were saying, man, he was all upbeat, talking about he was appealing the original cases and he might be a free man and back possibly in the NFL and all that. But Baez told him, hey, I got Casey Anthony off. You know, I'm your Boricua brother from another mother. Like, I got you. You should have had me the first time around. You wouldn't be even in this boat. And like, you know, that's like his claim to fame. He's happy about that he released a demon like Casey Anthony onto society. Because let's face it, that girl was guilty as fuck. That demonic, evil woman. And, you know, that's what gets those kind of defense attorneys revenue up. That's what makes them so big and so prominent in a world like that, is freeing evil sacks of garbage, evil demons, pieces of ish. No other way to put it. I just never could be. But back to what we're talking about here with Kohberger. You know, the attorneys are trying to say this is hearsay. But to me, it's clear as day. This is key, as the prosecutors, the people or whatever are saying, in establishing a timeline in these crimes. And you heard right on the 911 call, they spoke of how they saw that man at their house. And I don't know, man, it's terrible. And it's pretty crazy how long this case has pushed on. And there's people out there that feel like Kohberger is going to walk. I just can't see it happening. But hell, we were just talking about that demon, Casey Anthony. I guess at the end of the day, you never know. But in regards to some of these updates, as we were just talking about motions and hearsay and what's admissible or not, one thing here in regards to the debate over alibi evidence, you see prosecutors filed motions to restrict Kohberger from presenting alibi evidence unless he testifies. The defense previously claimed that Kohberger was out driving during the time of the murders and could substantiate this with expert testimony on cell phone tracking. Now, let's stop right there and just, go over the fact that when it comes to these expert witnesses, they're not always so much an expert. It's all the way they're presented to the court. It's not like people are right on the jury box Googling these individuals to see what they can find out about them. It's up to the prosecutors or the defense, whoever would want to discredit that expert witness to try to put them on blast, but they're often restricted as what is open to, bring into questioning. You know what I mean? Court is all a chess game at the end of the day, and in a lot of ways. And, there's this series on Netflix right now, comment if you guys saw it, or movie, I'm sorry, where, it seems an innocent man was put to DEATH, which is something we're going to get into here, talking about in this update with Kohberger. And it was in Texas. I forget the name of the movie, but they had an expert witness. One was for arson. They said he burnt down the house intentionally with his daughters in it. And, at the end of the day, as time went on and things got a bit more advanced, a different arson expert stepped up and said, man, it was a space heater. It's clear as day. And there's a whole podcast I could leave below in a link if anyone wants to see it or listen to it. I'm sorry. When it gets into the whole arson thing, or maybe should I just do a video on it, getting to that, the way arson was investigated for quite some time was based on a BS textbook. That is so invalidated as just not accurate, but for so long that was the go-to playbook, and someone would read that book and bang, you're an expert witness. But anyways, in that case, someone was calling this man a sociopath and all kinds of evil mentalth titles without ever meeting him or talking to him, and he turned out to just be the expert go-to guy when they want to label someone that, so in this situation, they're trying to bring on someone who is an expert in cell phone pinging to alibi him that he couldn't have been in the area. But the defense is, or I'm sorry, the defense is saying that the prosecutors are saying these shouldn't be able to be presented unless he testifies himself, being that it's an alibi, but where were we at? Cell phone tracking. However, prosecutors argue that the defense has not provided sufficient details about his whereabouts and missed disclosure deadlines, leading to a legal debate over his admissibility of such evidence. Also, Kohberger's defense team has a motion against the death penalty. They filed motions challenging the constitutionality of the death penalty should he be convicted. They argue that execution methods such as firing squad constitute cruel and unusual punishment. Now, let me just stop there and say that this is basic type appeals and stuff like that. This isn't anything groundbreaking or earth-shattering. They're just saying, which is an ongoing debate. Many people feel very different about taking one's life as punishment. Additionally, they contend that a jury rather than a judge should determine the sentence in the event of a conviction. This approach aims to preserve arguments for potential future appeals, reflecting the defense comprehensive strategy and the judge's call for transparency. An Idaho judge has admonished attorneys involved in the case for excessive secrecy, emphasizing that such practices conflict with the public's First Amendment right to access court proceedings. The judge has ordered that less restrictive measures be employed to protect confidential info, such as redacting specific lines or using initials to balance transparency with privacy. These developments underscore the legal complexities in in the case against Brian Kohberger as both the prosecution and defense navigate intricate evidentiary and constitutional issues. So a lot going on with this case as what this happened in 2022. You see these transcripts of these horrific texts. You know, it just kind of paints the picture a little more detailed as to what this sick son of, we got to say alleged sick son of a itch allegedly did. I think he did it. Again, everyone comment your thoughts on the case, but a lot of legal arguments going on delaying this case. It's going to be interesting when trial time rolls around to see what happens. But there you have it now, man. Jump in the comments, share your thoughts about all these legal arguments about evidence, alibis and stuff like that, these motions, and you know, just your thoughts on the case as a whole. Rest in peace to those victims that lost their lives. So sad to see the situation that the survivors were in, not really knowing what to do. And again, that chilling 911 call, it's just all so sad, all so tragic. I'm sure these people think back on this every single day and, you know, are tormented with regret and fear and just trauma. You know what I mean? Think about that, y'all. Seriously, comment if you feel me on what I'm saying here. Situations in your life, whether it be a relationship or just a bad mistake you made, how often you can be brought back to that place in time, thinking back about it, the coulda, woulda, shouldas and stuff like that, and feeling those emotions all over. And those are just regular everyday things, you know what I mean? In a sense. But we're talking about stuff here that resulted in horrific death for these individuals involved. And with that being said, I'm just kind of trying to give an example of just me personally. I think back on mistakes I made in my life or just things I could have done differently. And then you think about, what if you were involved in a situation where a loved one, a close friend, someone like that's life was snuffed out, multiple individuals in such gruesome manner. I mean, I can only think and don't really want to, you know, because it's so just horrific. But imagine being those people. I wouldn't be surprised if some of them often wish that maybe like survivor's guilt, you know what I mean? That like, man, it should have been me. I would have switched places, things like that. Like, these survivors are surviving with a lot of pain. And that's just facts, man. So there you have it. Subscribe to the channel. Once again, this is Crime Time Podcast, where we talk true crime news, updates pretty often on different cases from Kohberger to all other stuff going on within the genre. Look forward to talking to you guys in the comments. Thank you. I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.